like now to dive in. And it is my pleasure, on behalf of everybody, of our members, like you saw, of the European Commission, of Hydrogen Europe, of Hydrogen Europe Research, but also on behalf of my team, my wonderful team, to really present to you the status of the program. Before I dive in, before I start presenting you a bit of a highlight of achievements that you will hear during these 2 days, I would like to just remind you that again, these days are two fully online event days, part of the Hydrogen Week. It has been hinted to you already that we are waiting for the Hydrogen Week next week. Hydrogen Week, which is taking place in Brussels. It has been also co-created with our members. Again, you see the partnership between the Commission, Hydrogen Europe and Hydrogen Europe Research. We will have a lot of interesting debates, discussions throughout the policy conference next week. But also feel free, if you are joining us in Brussels, to visit the exhibition and in particular our joint undertaking booth. And also, finally, also next week, we will recognize and we will award, as you will see throughout my presentation, a few projects that made it either through the public voting or supported or nominated by us for the different awards such as Success Stories, Innovation, Outreach, or the Value of the Year. So really, with today's event, fully online still, we are kicking off the Hydrogen Week in itself. Good. Let me go start sharing my presentation. And I would like to now start talking about, like I promised, the program status of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership. For those that do not know us by now, why I'm saying that, because I still hope that by now the Clean Hydrogen Partnership and the Clean Hydrogen Joint Undertaking is well known worldwide as the main instrument, the main institutional public-private partnership in Europe to support research and innovation. A partnership between, as you can see, the public side, European Commission, on the private side, Hydrogen Europe and Hydrogen Europe Research. Hydrogen Europe with more than 400 members, industrial members. Hydrogen Europe Research, as you heard, more than 150 members from research community, such as research organization, academia in Europe. We have been mandated for this programming period, which is 2021 to 2031. We have been mandated to implement 1 billion euro from the main research and innovation program of the European Commission, Horizon Europe, and to implement, therefore, research and innovation activities and facilitate, of course, the transition to a greener society through hydrogen technologies. Like also Rosalinda mentioned, last year in 2022, with the Repower EU communication of the European Commission, we have been given additional 200 million to implement, to support hydrogen valleys and to double the numbers by 2025 already. We have many objectives. We are extremely ambitious, as always. And you see the general and the specific. I'm not going to go through them, but just for reference to mention, on the general side of the objectives, of course, we contribute to all relevant policies on energy, on climate, on transport, and ultimately even on industrial or research policies. Of course, we contribute to the hydrogen strategy. We stimulate research and innovation, competitiveness, you also heard it, and of course, finally on a longer term to the climate ambitions by 2050. We do that through specific objectives, of course, when we work in every support that we do to improve, of course, cost, effectiveness, efficiency, reliability of all the hydrogen solutions across the value chain. And you will hear me talking also, and my colleagues later. Of course, we continue to strengthen the knowledge and the capacity of scientific and industrial actors in EU in developing the skills and even finally uptaking of the skills. Of course, working in synergies not only within Horizon Europe and at EU level, but also in synergies with local, regional, and even national type of support. And finally, we have, of course, as we bring the technologies more and more into the market, we really have to start working with the public to increase their awareness, their acceptance, and finally, their uptake of the hydrogen technologies. In doing that, we have a very ambitious strategic research and innovation agenda, SRIA. We have such a multi-annual program for 10 years. Of course, we will implement the budget for less than that, but the activities will go up to end of 2031. And as you can see, the type of the support that we have for research and innovation goes again along the entire value chain from production, distribution and storage, end uses, and finally type of innovation in the ecosystems like the valleys. On production, of course, and again, you will hear from my colleagues later the details. We support mainly renewable routes of hydrogen productions, mainly electrolysis, but also some other routes at a much lower TRL, and which we would like to also bring into the market. On the distribution and storage, we look at above ground, underground, large-scale storage, all the liquid hydrogen carriers, including ammonia, including liquid organic, and including liquid hydrogen. We look at hydrogen transport in big quantities from point A to point B, compression, purification, metering, when we talk about dispersing, of course, hydrogen, and linked to that, of course, the refueling stations for transport use. On the end uses, of course, we continue to develop the building blocks, fuel cell systems, fuel cell stacks, but also the tanks for the different applications in transport, but mainly focusing with this program on heavy duty, trucks, ships, trains, and planes. And you heard already how we try also to collaborate on these end uses with all the other partnerships that try to implement zero solutions for the decarbonization of the transport. And on the end uses for the heat and power production, we of course continue to develop our traditional stationary fuel cells solutions that could offer heat and power production, clean heat and power production. But with this program, we have also opened, as you probably may know by now, also to turbines, boilers, burners. In addition to that, of course, we support projects on the so-called cross-cutting issues such as safety, pre-normative research, education, training. I mentioned already, and has been mentioned also by my members, the support to innovative ecosystems, innovative business models such as hydrogen valleys. We work on the supply chain through support to projects on manufacturing. And finally, like also Luigi mentioned, we have opened with this program on a longer term research to strategic research challenges that will bring results in 10 years time and will be feeding in the next generation of products. Of course, I mentioned at the beginning that by now everybody should know about us. We have a legacy. We build on our predecessors, the fuel cell and hydrogen joint undertakings 1 and 2. And of course, by now we have supported 337 projects and counting, because every day we are, almost every day, every week, we are signing new projects from the calls 2022 and 2023. Right now, I can report 337 projects supported for about 1.4 billion euro. Of course, also from the 7th framework program, the Horizon 2020, and now started to count from Horizon Europe. Some projects of the calls, like I mentioned, of 2022 and 2023 are still under preparation. We hope to sign them all by the end of this year. Again, here, when you look at the portfolio of the projects that we have supported, you see the support across the value chain with numbers and with budgets. And again, I will not go into these details because you will hear later from my team. Just a bit on 2022 and 2023, because it has been mentioned. I have to say with this, we were extremely ambitious with this first 2 years, and we have already called for applications and committed, we are ready to commit half of the budget. You can see it's more than 500 million euro, half of the billion that we have published and ready to commit already in the first 2 years of our partnership. And you see the ambition on the left side with the number also of the applications, the number of the proposals, but also with the amount of the projects to be signed. You also see on the right side, we are very pleased to see the increased international cooperation, 35%, to the overall 65 countries when we talk about the projects to be signed in these first 2 years. I mentioned also we have not started in 2022. We talk about 15 years of journey. We have started with the first JU in 2008 with the first fuel cell and hydrogen joint undertaking. And we have always had this approach of going from the low TRL to the higher TRL, learning from the market, learning from the field, and going back into the lab and developing the next generation of products. So we have this feedback loop, which is somehow embedded also into the whole research and innovation program of the European Commission in Horizon. And you can see in the picture real products that we have brought over the 15 years into the market, and we have supported our industry now to move forward into the commercial products. Of course, we do not only support projects, we do many other activities, and I will focus with my presentation for the rest of the time on that, because as I said also, you will hear from the projects in a moment after the break from my team, from the project officers. So what do we do along the projects? We develop synergies with other partnerships, with other programs. I mentioned the national, the local, the regional. We support the development of regulation codes and standards with our pre-normative research activities. We take care that our entire program, and of course through that our projects, and in the end the sector, it is addressed with everything we do safely by design, we do sustainable and circular by design. And in doing that, you will hear me in a moment, we will set up a panel of experts to support the program and the projects. We do a lot of knowledge management activities. We do believe we could be the single point of knowledge on hydrogen technologies in Europe. Of course, we mentioned the competitiveness and the support to SMEs. We support, in particular, our public member, European Commission, in the international cooperation. And of course, we do communication activities. We try to talk with one voice, in particular on research and innovation. And of course, like I said, we have to tackle the public side of awareness of these technologies. On the synergies, I'm not going to spend much time on this slide, but just to show to you our ambition again. On the left side, it's a mapping of the possible programs, the possible partnerships within Horizon Europe that we can work with, and we have already established either bilateral or through our stakeholder group collaboration with all these partnerships. And on the right side, you could see also the other programs, again, not only at EU level, but at national and regional level. In particular, from the synergies, I would like to mention to you our work with region, and of course, one of our success stories, which is the valleys and the project development assistance. Again, this has not been started last year. We have started working with regions in 2016. Once we have seen that some of our technologies are getting into the field, are getting into the market, we have started thinking about involving other actors and starting to work in synergies already at that time with the local and regional actors. But we also realized that across Europe, we don't have a harmonized way of not only knowledge, but maybe awareness about the technologies. And therefore, we will have to have different ways of collaboration or synergies or working with different local actors. Therefore, and on the right side, you see One way to do is to support investments through the valleys, through our work plans, by supporting with grants hydrogen valleys projects. Another way is to develop projects through a project development assistance type of support, from idea to project plans. And of course, the international context. I go quickly through all of them. On the project development assistance, what have we done? We have already supported the first wave. On the left side, you see, of 11 regions or cities. And you can see there already the projects we supported, the volumes of the projects, the number of the products that we support there, and of course, the budget in terms of CapEx. This has given us the confidence that we should continue to do that. And this year, we have started a new wave of project development assistance, more into the cohesion countries, most of that in Central and Eastern Europe. And we have a new wave of 15 selected projects or 15 selected regions or cities in which we will develop new 15 projects. Moreover, this year we have also realized that maybe for other regions, we have to work on a technical assistance. We probably have to even spend more time sitting together, identifying the gaps and the potential in some of the regions. And we published a call for expression of interest in the summer. We were overwhelmed, I have to say, by the number of the applications. And in that respect, we are working with another 15 regions and managing authorities there to have ultimately cooperation agreements to focus on capacity building, knowledge management, and why not in the end, because we talk to managing authorities, to have maybe together funding opportunities for hydrogen technologies in those regions that you see there. On the valleys, these are really grants to real projects, to big projects. Again, we started in 2015. You may all remember our project, Big Hit in Orkney in Scotland. That was when we called such initiative Hydrogen Territories. And then we came with a 2016 with the work with the regions, and we rename it, if you want, in Hydrogen Valleys. And that's when in 2019, we awarded the first Hydrogen Valley in the Northern Netherlands with the project Heaven, 20 million support from us. Lately, in 2020, with the first island, Green Highland in Mallorca. And of course, in 2022, we have, and we are still working to sign all of them, we have committed to support 9 additional valleys. You see them there. And Melissa kindly mentioned some of them. And now, finally, we have in September started the so-called no negotiation, preparation of the grant with another 4 hydrogen valleys, and which we also hope to sign by the end of this year. On the right side, you see it looks very well coverage of entire Europe, and we continue. We will have such calls every year. We have this commitment not only from the normal calls, but also from the Repower EU to continue to support hydrogen valleys. And with the valleys supported so far, we are proud to say that we contribute not only with research and innovation, with products to the policies, but also to the ambition in terms of volumes. In our valleys altogether, we hope to be able to deliver more than 20,000 tons of hydrogen per year, and to install more than 200 megawatts capacity of electrolyzers. I mentioned the international dimension, learning from us, based on us, but also with our public member, European Commission, being part of the Mission Innovation worldwide. We committed to support with this Hydrogen Valley platform. And we have relaunched the platform in May. And with that, we have counted at the time more than 80 valleys, or out of which 60 located in Europe. This is a platform where we map all the valleys. We try to provide a platform again for exchanges, learnings between the different valleys, but also identify common challenges across the world in which the different governments, part of the mission innovation, could work or decide to work together. Internationally speaking, I also chose to mention to you one of the projects that we also started at the beginning of the year from the call 2022 to promote a just transition to green hydrogen in Africa. This is a project that will look at scenario development, simulation, multi-impact assessment, training, capacity building, but also stakeholders matchmaking on the African continent, but also in view of collaboration with Europe. And in the end, we would like to have a technology policy investment roadmap with this project. It's a 2 years project, and we hope that this will also open and build on the intentions of the European Commission, of the EU, of the European Union, to collaborate with the African Union. I mentioned the supply chain and the manufacturing. Of course, we have projects, and you see them, some of them on the left, that in which we support research and innovation for the ensuring the supply chain in Europe and for manufacturing. But in addition to that, we have also started a study on the supply chain and industrialization of the hydrogen technologies. We will analyze, of course, 14 major technologies on the European hydrogen supply chain. We will identify the strengths and weaknesses. We really need to continue to build the supply chain and the value chain in Europe. We will update the list of the EU companies, entities. We will address, of course, within this context, the sustainability and recycling, and we are doing that with the involvement of a large advisory board of companies and research organizations. Of course, on sustainability, circularity, and on safety, like I mentioned, we need to make it from the beginning by design. And we are now trying to put in place, you may remember the safety panel. We will continue to do that. We will continue to do it through a different way of implementation. And we will set up a new panel of experts on safety. And similarly, we will support and we will set up a panel of experts on sustainability and circularity. And we hope to be able to publish a call for expression of interest to gather such experts in these weeks. We continue with our research work, with our studies, with our procurements, to also provide feedback to policy. And I chose to show you an example where we, again, back in 2014, started talking about guarantees of origin, certification of hydrogen, looking at the different methodologies of green hydrogen or definitions of green hydrogen and low carbon hydrogen. And now we have managed the stage where we expanded scope from the guarantees of origin to certification, not only of the green or low carbon hydrogen, but to renewable fuels of non-biological origin as defined by the RED, Renewable Energy Directive. We provide other fact-based studies to not only to our policy, to our public member, to the commission, like I mentioned, but also to the private side. And we continue to work, for example, this year on the hydrogen imports. We published 2 reports. They are all on our website. And next week, within the context of the Hydrogen Week, we will hold the final meeting. And of course, we have taken stock this year in 2023 of the level of the public awareness on hydrogen, in order to see what is the status, but also what are the measures in which we all have to work together to increase such public awareness. And again, all these reports are published on our websites. I mentioned the knowledge management activities. They are all around the program, around the projects, around the studies, but they culminate with these days, today and tomorrow. We do this annual program review, and the program review report has been just published this morning. It has been accompanied, of course, by the observatory work, the collaboration with our colleagues in the Joint Research Center. We used all these facts to, of course, to feed back into the policy, but also with the ultimate goal And this is what we started to work as of this year to become the knowledge hub on hydrogen in Europe. The data collection methodology, I will not stop too much on that, but just to say it's based on projects, it's around the projects, and it's about the trust, the performance data that we collect from the technology on our projects, and again, with the support of our colleagues from the Joint Research Center. Again, please have a look on our website. We just published this morning the program review report. We have broadened the scope. We have reviewed this year the 80 projects ongoing, most of them from the previous program, as you can imagine. I mentioned at the beginning that while we run this program, we continue signing new projects. So we have reviewed those running from the predecessors through a survey, through the performance reports into our trust database. The trust database is where we collect performance data of the technologies. And of course, 79 project fact sheets coming from this project are also published on our website. Please have a look, and I encourage you to enjoy them. In addition to that, we look at market data. And with that, in September, we relaunch our observatory. That looks at many new data sets on all steps across the hydrogen value chain. It has a customizable and interactive geomap. We also introduced with this occasion a levelized cost of hydrogen calculator. And of course, with this, we go beyond the technology, we go into the market data, and we target all our members, industry, policymaker, academics, but also opinion leaders and citizens, ultimately. Part of our knowledge, it's also the hydrogen refueling stations availability systems. This is a project, an initiative we started several years back, and we have equipped the different refueling stations in Europe with equipment to send in real life availability signals through the different analysis that we do with the program review. Of course, we try to also recognize the achievements and identify success stories, innovations, innovators coming from our projects. And like I mentioned, please join us next week for the award ceremony on the 22nd of November to really recognize and be proud of this project. And now, as I'm very aware of the time, I will try to go quickly through the publications and the patents and the dissemination exploitation results. A lot of exploitable results in our 62 projects. You can see that more of the exploitable results are around the products, some on the standards, and some on the methods, with a merging market of 64% when we talk about market maturity, and 24% additional creating potential of the market. So you can see how important our projects and the support we give to the project is in creating new products and in creating the market. And what I was surprised to see is the time to impact, because you have a very considerable amount of 14% of up to 12 months impact of our projects, with 1 to 5 of 69%. So really high impact of our projects into the market. Moreover, you see that on the left side, our projects, the type of the exploitation of the results, they reach to 33%. 33% of them, they reach to investors. 24%, they build a business plan, a market survey. And 22% of them, they did the necessary steps towards standardization, with 6% into new patents application. Very, very important indicators if you want to see, like we heard in the morning, the importance of the GU and of this partnership into achieving the priorities, the very high level priorities of the European Commission. When we talk about the target group, you can also see the mix between the business partners, the end users, but also the standardization bodies, which again show our contribution to the market. But finally, we should not neglect the bottlenecks and the obstacles. The lack of financing, of course, we need to continue to fund. The lack of regulation codes and standards, and we know we have to continue to provide input into that, and the lack of labor skills. So these are all obstacles in which we have to continue to work. On dissemination, of course, proud to see the contribution to the conferences, to the education and training, but also meeting with stakeholders. We've done a wider scientific community survey this year, and again, the same requirements, the increase of funding, the development of the hydrogen technology, and the collaboration between actors are the three main elements that the wider scientific community has mentioned to us that we have to pay particular attention. And I will get to the end of my presentation just to take few numbers from our public opinion survey that I also mentioned that we published this year, and to see that and to mention that 69% of the people in EU 27 consider hydrogen to be a sustainable energy source. I have to say I'm very pleased with this number. 70%, they also feel that hydrogen is a good solution for reducing the energy dependence of their country. And 71% are interested to know more on hydrogen. We have to take into account all these numbers, and we have to continue to do what we do. I think we are doing well. You will see also from the presentation along these 2 days, and of course next week in Brussels. But I think we also have to become even more ambitious and to increase our contact with the public, our communication to the public. Now, the rules of the house. As I mentioned, we will look at 2 days of full of information, of content coming from our program. We will hear in a moment from our colleagues from the Joint Research Center who are supporting us for this huge exercise that we do annually. We have decided, due to its importance and the number of the projects, to continue with in a plenary type of organization with the hydrogen valleys, and then we will split in parallel streams, in parallel sessions along the different parts of the value chain. And really happy to be back with you tomorrow for the closing session and the key takeaways to look forward to the challenges, but also forward after 2031. Why not? With that, do not hesitate to put questions to us. Please use the live web stream player on your screen. Please also vote if you have any questions. And I'm here with my team again to guide you through all our achievements of this year. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing right now.